Why are you still waiting for someone to notice you, choose you, believe in you? What will it cost you to keep asking for permission to become who you already know you are? This speech will expose every lie you've told yourself about why you haven't built the life you want. It will show you how every delay, every hesitation, every moment of doubt was not imposed by the world, but created by you. You will learn the exact mindset that built fortunes. You will see how men like Ford, Edison, and Carnegie rose, not because someone discovered them, but because they chose themselves first and obeyed that choice daily. When this is finished, you will no longer ask to be seen. You will act as one who cannot be ignored. You will stop drifting. You will stop hesitating. You will choose yourself and finally mean it. Now listen closely. The rest of your life depends on it. Until you choose yourself, you will spend your entire life begging others to notice you, believe in you, call on you, validate you. But life does not reward the one who waits. It rewards the one who declares. No king was crowned by committee. He crowned himself with decision, action, and law. This is what it means to finally choose yourself. You were not sent here to seek approval. You were not born to ask permission. You were not made to drift in the shadows of weaker men's expectations. And yet, that is what you've done. You've waited for someone to pick you. You've hoped the world would eventually see your value. But the world does not see what you will not show, and it does not follow the man who will not command himself. You tell yourself that one day you'll rise, that one day the world will recognize your gifts. But I must speak truth to you now. That day will never come unless you create it. You are the gate. You are the authority. And until you sign your name in fire upon your own soul, your future remains in the hands of others. That is the law. You do not need more time. You do not need more knowledge. You do not need more followers, applause, or encouragement. What you need is to make one final, definite decision. I choose myself now and forever. And from that moment forward, the man who walked in hesitation must die. The reason most men remain poor is not because the opportunity has passed them. It is because they refuse to declare themselves worthy of it. The reason most men remain weak is not because strength is unavailable. It is because they never chose to command it. Do you understand what I'm telling you? The future is not owned by the most talented. It is owned by the most definite, the most committed. The man who moves forward not because the path is clear, but because he refuses to stop. He does not wait for someone to open the door. He builds his own gate and walks through it. That is what it means to choose yourself. Let me ask you now, how many years have you waited? How many seasons have you said, I'll begin when I'm ready? How many times have you asked others to believe in you while you still lived in secret hesitation? That ends now. The greatest prison you'll ever live in is the one where you pretend to be small. The greatest lie you'll ever tell is the one where you say, I'm not ready yet. The man who chooses himself does not ask the world for permission. He declares war on every doubt and backs his words with discipline. This is the speech that begins your freedom. It will not flatter you. It will not soften you. It will not comfort the part of you that wants to stay safe. It will do something better. It will burn away the false you. It will reveal the version of you that is not waiting, not apologizing, not drifting, but building. You are going to hear the truth you've avoided. You are going to hear why you have not become what you know you could be. And you're going to learn what happens, what truly happens when a man finally decides that he is no longer for sale, no longer on hold, no longer sleeping on his purpose. There are 9 laws I will give you, 9 doors you must walk through. Each one is built on fire. Each one will require that you abandon your excuses, face your reflection, and become the authority in your own life. This is not for the faint of heart, but you did not come this far to stay weak. Write this now. I am the one I've been waiting for. Again, I crown myself through action. Again, my law begins with my decision. Say it aloud. Write it in blood on the page of your discipline.
And now we begin the first law.
You were not born with command. You were not born with clarity, conviction, or power. You were born with potential, but potential is nothing until it is demanded. And the demand must come from you. No man is born chosen. No man arrives into this world with a crown. You must choose to wear it, and then build the head to bear its weight. You keep asking, when will someone see me? When will the world take me seriously? But hear me now, the world does not choose builders. It simply responds to them. It bends for those who bend themselves to a decision. It follows the man who commands himself before anyone else ever does. If you wait to be picked, you will rot in obscurity. Because power is self-bestowed, there is a tragic mistake that most men make. They believe that confidence comes from praise, that leadership comes from popularity, and that clarity comes from consensus. But the truth is far more brutal, far more glorious. All power begins when one man decides to believe in himself, without applause, without approval, and without evidence. When Henry Ford began, no one believed in him. He was ridiculed, mocked, and warned that his idea was foolish. A machine carriage with no horse? Madness, they said. But he did not require their belief because he already had his own. That is the first law of builders. I believe in my mind more than I fear the opinions of others. Ford did not need the world to choose him. He chose himself and backed that choice with tireless effort, definite purpose, and a refusal to turn back. While other men delayed until they were ready, he moved with clarity, forged in defiance. That is why he became the builder of an empire, while the doubters became footnotes. Now I ask you, when will you choose yourself? When will you decide that the delay is no longer dignified, that the uncertainty is no longer acceptable, that the waiting is no longer wise, but cowardice dressed as strategy? Because every moment you hesitate is a moment stolen from your own dominion, and dominion is only given to the man who declares it. There is no path until you build it. There is no calling until you answer it. There is no legacy until you declare yourself worthy of one. Most men live as if they are waiting for some external force to grant them authority. But the truth is, you are the authority. And if you don't declare it, no one else will. To choose yourself is not a feeling. It is a contract. It is a written, signed, dated command, a law you create and obey. And if you have not written it, if you have not declared it, if you have not signed your name under your own definite chief aim, then you are still drifting, still waiting, still lying. Go now and write it. Write your aim, write your law, then beneath that law, sign your name. Not in ink, but in promise, in identity, in fire. Your signature means this: I choose this path even if no one else does. I walk it alone if I must. I obey the vision, not the world. You say you want purpose. You say you want freedom. You say you want to change your life. But you cannot have these things if you do not first choose yourself, not as a passing emotion, but as a binding oath. That oath is not to be broken. That oath is what separates the drifter from the builder, the beggar from the king. Understand this: every great man you admire did not begin great. He began alone, in doubt, in obscurity. But what made him powerful was not applause, it was decision, a private decision that he was no longer available for mediocrity, that he was no longer willing to betray himself for the comfort of others. Think of Abraham Lincoln, mocked and belittled in his early years. He lost more elections than he won. He suffered publicly. He grieved privately. But he still carried the burden of leadership, not because others believed in him, but because he believed in his cause. That is what it means to choose yourself. It is not self-centered. It is soul-centered. It is a man saying, I will carry this, even if I am doubted, even if I am hated, even if I am alone. I will carry this because I must, because I choose it. That is your task now. That is the first law. Do not wait to be appointed. Appoint yourself. Now hear me clearly. From this day forward, If you wait for anyone to give you permission, you have broken the law of self-choice. From this day forward, if you downplay your dream in order to be accepted, you have surrendered your own throne. From this day forward, you speak and act and walk as the one who has already chosen himself. You are not asking to be accepted. You are building a life that makes acceptance irrelevant. You are not waiting to be invited. You are walking through the door with command in your step. You are not begging to be seen. You are living in such obedience to your purpose that your results cannot be ignored. Repeat after me. I no longer wait to be picked. I stand where others hesitate. I write my aim. I sign my name. I begin now. And again, until it enters your bones. I no longer wait to be picked. I stand where others hesitate. I write my aim. I sign my name. I begin now. Now go. And build your aim with such fury that the world forgets it ever doubted you. You are not here to be chosen. You are here to choose yourself. You believe others are the reason you have not begun. You tell yourself you need more support, more encouragement, more recognition, more belief from them. But I tell you now with divine certainty, no man ever receives from others what he has not first given himself. Approval is not granted. It is first claimed in silence. Every time you wait to feel seen, to feel validated, to feel ready, you are betraying the one man who can build your future, yourself. You do not lack favor. You lack decision. You do not lack talent. You lack ownership. And until you give yourself the authority you've been begging others to give, you will walk this earth like a ghost with a golden heart, unrecognized, unused, undone. Let me tell you a truth that will either break your illusion or build your foundation. The world reflects what you radiate. And if you radiate doubt, uncertainty, hesitation, then even your highest potential will be overlooked because you taught others that you are unsure. And no one follows a man unsure of himself. Charles Schwab was not handed his position. He demanded it, not through arrogance, but through belief so consistent it became unshakable. He took responsibility beyond his pay grade. He acted with clarity before he had title. And what followed? Men followed him, because he had already followed himself. You are not invisible because others refuse to see you. You are invisible because you refuse to embody your own standard. You do not rise by being accepted. You rise by being relentlessly obedient to your vision until the results force the world to take notice. Do you see now? Every ounce of attention you crave from others must first be converted into devotion to your own aim. Stop checking for praise. Check your output. Stop waiting for feedback. Measure your execution. Your work is your proof, and no man with proof needs permission. You say you feel rejected, but I ask you, have you accepted yourself yet? Have you stood in front of the mirror, not with shame, not with waiting, but with declaration, and said, I am the man who builds. I am the man who commands. I am the one I've been waiting for. If not, then you are the first one to reject you, and no amount of applause will heal that. It must be reversed by decision, internal, unwavering, daily. You cannot keep asking the world to confirm a belief you refuse to live. This is the law. Identity is not a gift. It is a construct, and it is constructed by repetition. If you do not speak your aim aloud, write your aim daily, execute your aim hourly, then your identity will drift into the hands of the world. And the world will shape you, not into a builder, but a bystander. Let us speak now of your rituals. Do you rise early? Do you recite your aim? Do you move with order? Or do you drift, react, hope, and wait? Because if you do not treat your aim like law, it will never manifest. Your rituals are either building your self-belief or betraying it. Others cannot do this for you. Their encouragement is not fuel. It is a distraction. You do not need more cheerleaders. You need more repetition. Repetition of discipline. Repetition of clarity. repetition of action. That is how the subconscious mind is reprogrammed, from fear to belief, from doubt to dominion. Say this aloud now. My work is my proof. I give myself the approval I once begged for. Again. My work is my proof. I give myself the approval I once begged for. Because that is the true test of self-choice. When no one claps, do you still execute? When no one sees, do you still prepare? When no one believes, do you still act? If the answer is no, then you are still dependent. And dependence is not the soil of transformation. You must learn to walk alone, to build alone, to speak to yourself with power in the absence of applause. That is the training ground of every master. Do you think Edison waited for applause before he lit the world? Do you think Lincoln waited to be encouraged before he rose again after every loss? They trained their minds in solitude. You must do the same. You do not speak to impress others. You speak to program yourself. Speak your aim aloud, daily, even if it feels foolish. Because each repetition builds the man. Each repetition kills the hesitation. Each repetition hardens the voice that once trembled. There will be days when the world ignores you. Let it. There will be hours when even your friends doubt you. Let them. Because what matters is not their view of you, but your view of yourself. And the only way to strengthen that view is through rituals so unbreakable it becomes identity. Write your aim. Say it aloud. Move as if it were law. Then the world will bend to the pattern you command. This is your moment. This is your shift. You no longer live for likes. You live for law. You no longer chase applause. You chase structure. You no longer ask for affirmation. You become affirmation. Now repeat with me. I move as the proof. I no longer ask. I demonstrate. My standard makes me seen. Again. I move as the proof. I no longer ask. I demonstrate. My standard makes me seen. You are not here to be noticed. You are here to be undeniable. And that does not come from the crowd. It comes from you. You say you've chosen yourself. You say you've decided. You say, I'm ready now. But I do not ask for words. I ask for evidence, because many men declare themselves in emotion, but abandon themselves in practice. And that is not self-choice. That is self-betrayal dressed in passion. If you still obey laziness, if you still submit to distraction, if you still choose comfort over clarity, then your self-choice was not a decision. It was a fantasy. True decision is never declared merely in speech. It is demonstrated in obedience. And obedience is the test of every man who has claimed his own throne. Do you rise when you said you would? Do you speak your aim aloud before sunrise? Do you complete what you start, no matter how you feel? If you do not, then you are not yet a builder. You are still a beggar, wearing the crown of a king he has not earned. Thomas Edison did not choose himself in a moment of excitement. He chose himself and proved it 10,000 times in failure, 10,000 experiments, 10,000 trials, 10,000 demonstrations that his oath was real. That is what proves self-choice, unbreakable persistence in the dark. You must understand. Your actions are your signature. Your rituals are your identity. You can declare yourself in a journal, but your calendar will testify against you. Your habits will speak louder than your voice. Your behavior will expose the truth. This is why most men never transform. They confuse inspiration with transformation. They confuse affirmation with law. They confuse I feel ready with I am proven by discipline. But true builders know, I do not act when I feel like it. I act because I said I would. Discipline is the fire that forges the chosen man. Without it, your declaration is hollow. Without it, your identity is weak. Without it, your self-belief is a house with no foundation. And no matter how confident you sound, the storms of life will break you if you are not disciplined. Build your rhythm. Declare your law, then obey it without delay. Rise before dawn. Speak your aim aloud. Review your plan. Execute without mood. Track your habits like a soldier. Correct with speed. Build through repetition. Repeat that rhythm until you become the man you decided to be. Do not wait to feel powerful. Act with power. Do not wait to feel ready. Act with readiness. Do not wait to feel certain. Act in certainty. Because every time you act in obedience to your aim, you become your aim. There is no substitute for discipline. It is the only proof of belief. If you say you believe in your dream, but your behavior is loose, your time is wasted, your rituals are weak, then you are lying to yourself, and the subconscious mind does not respond to lies. It responds to law. This is why so few ever rise. They hear the principles, they admire the stories, but they do not commit to the daily fire, and without that fire, no man ever becomes who he claims to be. Edison knew this. Carnegie lived this. Ford demanded this, and you must do the same. Let me give you a law. Whatever you repeat with discipline becomes identity. Whatever you delay becomes decay. Whatever you excuse becomes law in your life. And whatever you execute daily becomes your new destiny. You must now remove the softness from your structure. Set your wake time. Set your action hours. Set your targets. Review your plan. Speak your creed. And execute it even when tired, especially when tired, because it is obedience and exhaustion that proves whether you are chosen or pretending. Stop waiting for alignment. Align yourself. Stop waiting for motivation. Move without it. Stop waiting for momentum. Create it. That is what separates the man who has truly chosen himself from the one who merely felt inspired. Say this aloud now. My actions confirm my decision. I follow my own law with military will. Again, my actions confirm my decision. I follow my own law with military will. Let the world be ruled by men of emotion. Let the crowds drift in cycles. Let the dreamers wait for mood. But you are no longer one of them. You have chosen yourself. And that choice must be proven in obedience. You do not need another plan. You need practice. You do not need another affirmation. You need alignment. You do not need more motivation. You need mastery over your time, your attention, your energy. That is discipline. That is power. That is self-choice in action. Now look at your life. Look at your rituals. Look at your calendar. Where is the proof? Where is the structure? Where is the fire? If you cannot see it, build it. And if you can see it, double it. Because every man who masters discipline becomes unstoppable. You will not become the man you admire by dreaming. You will become him by drilling your decisions into daily law. Wake up with intention. Speak your aim like it is sacred. Move like a soldier of destiny. Correct your weaknesses. Remove softness. Build in the dark. That is what the greats did. That is what you must do. Edison, Ford, Carnegie, Hill, they did not become who they were through emotion. They became who they were through repetition of disciplined action, forged in solitude, proven in silence. Now say it once more. My actions confirm my decision. I follow my own law with military will. Discipline is my identity. Obedience is my power. This is your fire. Let it burn. The moment you declare that you are the builder of your life, the king of your direction, the master of your fate, you forfeit the right to blame any man, any woman, any condition, or any moment for what you do not yet possess. The chosen man does not blame. He builds. Blame is the shield of the uncommitted. It is the voice of the drifter. It is the vocabulary of those who never chose with force. For as long as you blame, you are admitting that someone else holds power over you, and the man who gives away power in thought will never possess it in life. Let me make this clear. Until you eliminate all external blame, you have not truly chosen yourself. You are still acting. You are still performing the part of a master. While secretly keeping a door open to excuse, you cannot serve two masters, and blame is the idol of the weak. A man cannot say, I am the commander of my world, and then say, but my results are because of him or her or them. That is spiritual contradiction. That is lawlessness in the soul. And wherever contradiction exists, confusion follows, and power disappears. Abraham Lincoln understood this. He was mocked, doubted, defeated, and despised. But he never pointed the finger outward. He accepted the full burden of the Union as his own, because he had chosen the identity of leader, and he knew that a leader blames no one. When you crown yourself, you sign a contract. That contract reads, from this moment forward, I am the cause of my life. And every result, whether wealth or weakness, glory or failure, is mine to own. If I fail, I correct. If I fall, I rise. If I lack, I build. If I lose, I learn. This is the high cost of self-choice. You will no longer have the comfort of blame. You will no longer have the excuse of environment, the scapegoat of upbringing, or the seduction of sympathy. The world will offer you these comforts, but you must burn them, for they are chains. And if you find yourself clinging to them, blaming your family, your past, your body, your boss, your society, then you have not yet chosen yourself. You have only said you have. And the subconscious mind does not respond to lies. It only obeys truth sealed by action. So I ask you, who are you still blaming? Who do you secretly believe owes you something? What name comes to mind when your goals are delayed? Write it down, face it, and then speak aloud. I am responsible. I remove all blame. Because the man who keeps blame alive, even secretly, builds a future on sand. And when the pressure comes, when the hour of challenge arrives, he will collapse, because the structure of his identity was never forged in full authority. It was still dependent on the faults of others. Your next level is hidden behind the door of responsibility. That is where freedom lives. That is where your full potential awakens. That is where the chains break, not because someone frees you, but because you decide, I am the only builder here. Audit your results. Everyone. The money you have, the strength you carry, the skill you've sharpened or not. Each result is your teacher. It is not punishment. It is measurement. And if the result is not what you want, then change the pattern, not the blame. Say this aloud now. I am the source of my results. I do not blame, I build. Responsibility is my freedom. Again. I am the source of my results. I do not blame, I build. Responsibility is my freedom. Understand this. Blame is emotional slavery, but responsibility is emotional sovereignty. The moment you say, I am the cause, you also become the solution. The moment you say, it's on me, you become free to move, free to correct, free to accelerate. The world is filled with men who blame. Their voices are loud. Their excuses are poetic. Their reasons are endless, but their results are hollow. Do not join them. Separate yourself. Build your name on law. Speak only what empowers. Stand only on truth. Own every moment. Edison did not blame the darkness. He built the light. Ford did not blame the limitations. He built through them. Carnegie did not blame poverty. He converted it into power. And Hill, when left without answers, created his own. That is what chosen men do. Now look at your life. Look at your decisions. Look at your results. Where have you made excuses? Where have you surrendered your authority? Where have you softened the truth with story? Go there, face it, and then rewrite it with action. Say it again with full voice. I am the source of my results. I do not blame. I build. Responsibility is my freedom. This is the fourth seal of self-choice. Burn the crutch of blame and walk in your own power. If you have truly chosen yourself, you must now face the next test. And it is not applause. It is not recognition. It is isolation. Because the man who walks in his own law must often walk alone. Power is not born in crowds. It is built in the silence where only your decision can echo. Most men cannot hear themselves because they are surrounded by noise, by opinion, by praise, by distraction. They confuse attention with confirmation and company with strength. But I tell you now, if your identity requires approval, it is not identity. It is dependency masquerading as confidence. The builder must step away. He must retreat into silence, not to escape, but to hear the command of his own decision, to rehearse his definite chief aim with no audience, to remember that no transformation has ever come from applause. It came from alignment. Henry Ford understood this. He took long, solitary walks, not because he was antisocial, but because he needed to listen to problems deeply. And in those walks, answers came. His own mind became his counsel. And that is the sign of the chosen man. He listens to his own counsel above all. Napoleon Hill wrote his most powerful work not surrounded by fanfare, but in seasons of sacred solitude. I wrote because I was called, not because someone handed me a stage. And I tell you now, every man who has built anything eternal has passed through the wilderness of separation. You must now create a chamber of silence, 1 hour, 1 room, 1 notebook. And in that chamber, you must write your law, declare your identity, review your action, and rehearse the voice that built you. This is where your self-choice becomes sealed, not by others, but by repetition in private. Beware the man who always needs to be seen. He is not building, he is performing. And performance without solitude breeds hollowness. But the man who vanishes to forge himself returns with presence. He does not need to announce who he is, he radiates it. Solitude is not punishment, it is power, it is preparation. It is the sacred ground where your old self dies and your new self is born, not once, but daily. Because every morning you enter that room, you must make the choice again. I follow no voice but my own. Let me give you a command. If you do not yet have this space, build it today. A physical place where no phone rings, no screen flashes, no opinion enters. Just you, your creed, and your command. In that room, you will remember who you are. In that room, you will become. Say this now. I do not fear solitude, I use it. In silence, I find command. Again, I do not fear solitude, I use it. In silence, I find command. You must now also study how you respond to isolation. Do you panic when you are alone? Do you rush back to distraction? Do you crave the noise? If so, you have not yet built the inner world strong enough to lead. And leadership begins with leading your own mind. Andrew Carnegie built an empire, but he did not do it in public first. He did it in the laboratory of private decisions, refined over time. Public greatness is born from private ritual. The chosen man lives this. He does not ask for eyes. He seeks only alignment with his aim. And when you have built this inner fortress, you will no longer need reminders. You will no longer need rescue. You will no longer panic in the quiet, because the quiet will be your forge. And every time you sit in that chamber, you will return more solid, more certain, more sovereign. Say it again. I do not fear solitude. I use it. In silence, I find command. Do not seek visibility, seek clarity. Do not crave company, crave conviction. Do not chase noise, embrace necessity. Let the world think you vanished. While they drift, you build. This is how every true master is born. And you, if you continue, if you remain faithful to the choice you made, you will reemerge as one no man can shake. If you have truly chosen yourself, then you must prepare for battle, not with the world, not with circumstance, not with critics, but with the former version of you, that weaker self who doubted, who delayed, who craved softness and feared solitude. That self must die, not once, but daily. There is no elevation without execution, and there is no transformation without the death of comfort. Every morning that you rise, the old voice will greet you. It will speak in the language of later, of ease, of I've done enough. And your job, as the chosen man, is to kill it. You cannot become new by keeping the old self alive. You cannot ascend while feeding yesterday's habits. You cannot win by repeating the behavior of the man who failed. And the greatest betrayal is this: to proclaim you've changed while still making decisions like the man you were. Andrew Carnegie understood this law. He demanded of his men a standard so fierce that weakness was removed by discipline. He refused to let the old version of them survive. He knew the truth. You do not evolve by inspiration. You evolve by obliteration of all that no longer serves. You are not free because you declared it once. You are free because you defend your new identity with violence, with decision, with sacrifice, with audit, with structure. The man who chooses himself but refuses to kill his lower nature is a liar to himself. And the subconscious mind sees through the lie. Your weaker self will disguise itself as your protector. It will whisper of balance, of comfort, of you've earned it. But that is the enemy speaking. And the man who listens will fall back into the shadows of indecision, mediocrity, and regret. You must now practice daily execution of this law. At the end of each day, sit with paper in hand and ask, where did I obey the old me today? Write it, name it, confront it, and declare the new action that must replace it. This is not journaling. It is war. If you do not confront the drift, it multiplies. If you do not track the enemy, it disguises itself. If you do not record your betrayal, you will repeat it. And the man who repeats yesterday becomes yesterday. But the man who corrects it becomes untouchable. Say this now. The old self dies today. I serve the vision, not the voice of comfort. Again, the old self dies today. I serve the vision, not the voice of comfort. Each day is not a new opportunity. It is a battlefield. And on that field, only one version of you survives, the man you were or the man you are becoming. You must choose. And that choice is not made with feeling. It is made with habit, schedule, structure, and follow-through. Look at your routine. Who does it serve? The man of yesterday, or the man you have chosen to become. Audit your behavior without emotion. Audit your language, your pace, your posture, your tone. Everything you do is either loyalty to the past or alignment with the future. Thomas Edison did not invent by being inspired. He invented because he did not quit. That is the secret. He moved when tired. He moved when ridiculed. He moved when failure stared him down, because he had chosen his identity once and backed it with 10,000 daily deaths of doubt. You do not need to feel ready. You do not need to feel powerful. You only need to be loyal to the man you are building. And loyalty is not proven by emotion. It is proven by execution when no one is watching, especially when the weaker voice inside begs for escape. Say it again. The old self dies today. I serve the vision, not the voice of comfort. If you want freedom, build repetition. If you want transformation, build ritual. If you want mastery, track obedience. And if you want to be chosen, choose yourself again tomorrow morning while the world sleeps and the old self whispers. Only one of you walks into the future. Choose wisely, choose daily, choose with warlike honor. When you truly choose yourself, you change. Not just internally, not just in ambition, but in presence, in how you walk into a room, in how you speak, in how you decide. Because the man who has made a definite choice no longer walks as a question. He walks as an answer. Most men speak to impress. They decorate their speech with exaggeration, hesitation, performance, but the man who has chosen himself no longer seeks reaction. He speaks to declare. He speaks to order reality. He speaks as a builder giving blueprints, not as a beggar asking for permission. Your presence is no longer casual. It is no longer unsure. It is no longer floating in mood or seeking approval in posture. It is grounded. It is measured. It is deliberate. Because the man who leads himself must walk with law in his bones and decision in his step. John D. Rockefeller was not loud. He was not theatrical. He was certain. His movements were precise. His speech was exact. His decisions carried the full weight of inner government because he had done the silent work. He had chosen himself and ruled from within. This is your next test. Study your walk. Study your tone. Study your decisions. Do they reflect the identity you declared, or do they still carry the hesitation of a man waiting for others to approve? There must be no apology in your posture. There must be no softness in your schedule. There must be no confusion in your tone, because the man who chooses himself and still lives like the old self is deceiving the subconscious mind, and the subconscious will not obey deception. Say this aloud. I speak as a builder. I walk as one who has chosen his role. Again, I speak as a builder. I walk as one who has chosen his role. Decision sharpens your speech. It sharpens your habits. It sharpens your vision. When you walk into a room, you do not absorb its energy. You command it, not by domination, but by clarity. You know who you are. You know why you are there. You are not there to blend. You are there to build. Every sentence must reflect identity. Every silence must reflect authority. Every movement must be born from choice, not chance. This is how the inner man becomes visible, not by explaining who he is, but by being who he is without compromise. This transformation is not decoration. It is not charm. It is not popularity. It is structure. And structure does not need to speak loudly. It only needs to stand unmoved. The man who does not waver becomes a reference point. Others align to him not because he demands it, but because he embodies it. Let us make this practical. Remove hesitation from your voice. Speak directly. Speak clearly. Remove apology from your face. Carry responsibility in your chest. Speak your definite chief aim aloud each morning. Then walk in agreement with it. Let your body obey your belief. In decision, your decisions must reflect finality. Do not drag your feet. Do not weigh the same options 100 times. If it aligns with your chief aim, say yes. If it does not, say no. Move with clean lines. The man who lingers is still negotiating with the old self. Carnegie made decisions that shifted empires, but he made them from a fixed position. He had already chosen who he was. That is the root. If you do not know who you are, every decision becomes emotional. But when identity is fixed, decision becomes mechanical. Repeat this command. My speech reflects law. My movement reflects clarity. My decisions reflect command. This is how you build the visible throne of the inner king, not with performance, but with precision. The world does not follow noise. It follows structure. It follows certainty. And that certainty must radiate from your very presence. And say it again. I speak as a builder. I walk as one who has chosen his role. And now you must enforce it. Every time you slouch, you apologize to the old self. Stand up. Every time you hesitate, you betray your own law. Decide. Every time you speak vaguely, you confuse your mind. Be clear. The world is not confused. It is waiting for the man who will no longer shrink, stutter, or surrender. And that man must be you. Walk in the law you wrote. Speak from the identity you built. And never again ask the world for validation. You have chosen yourself. Let your entire presence prove it. There are men with truth on their side who die unknown. There are men with brilliance who remain invisible. There are men with plans, virtue, and purpose who are passed by every hour. Why? Because truth is not enough. Purpose is not enough. Only force moves the world. You believe you are ready because you are right, because your idea is good, because your intention is pure. But the world does not bend to intention. It bends to conviction, repetition, and force of identity. You must not only possess the truth, you must declare it, insist on it, enforce it. Many men were more intelligent than Edison, more knowledgeable, more respected. But Edison insisted. He did not try. He did not ask. He commanded the unseen to become seen. He wrote his aim in the invisible and backed it with faith, action, and persistence until reality had no choice but to obey. This is the law. You do not attract success by being worthy. You attract it by being definite. Definite in aim, definite in repetition, definite in movement. The man who moves with uncertainty, even with noble cause, is ignored by the universe. You say you are ready, but have you declared your chief aim out loud 10 times per day? Have you written it each morning before the world wakes? Have you scheduled your day around it? Have you moved in rhythm so exact that even nature must respond? Say this aloud. I bend reality through rhythm. I do not wait for permission. I move as law. Again, I bend reality through rhythm. I do not wait for permission. I move as law. You must now build rhythm. A man without rhythm is forgettable. A man with rhythm becomes immovable. Begin with your definite chief aim. Choose one, not 10, not someday. One aim, one demand, one identity. And every thought, every step, every word must align or be removed. Write your aim now. Do not write it as a hope. Write it as a command, a spiritual order to your mind, your day, your destiny, and beneath it, sign your name. That signature is your crown, your law, your proof of belief. From this moment forward, speak it aloud 10 times per day, not with emotion, but with structure, with will, with fire. This is not an incantation, it is alignment, it is rhythm. And what you say aloud, the subconscious begins to obey. And what the subconscious obeys, the world begins to reflect. Ford did not ask for the automobile industry to approve him. He acted as if it already belonged to him. And that belief, that posture, that certainty, bent the impossible into form. The world could not resist him because he no longer resisted himself. And you must do the same. Act as if it is already yours. Walk as if it cannot fail. Plan as if it is written in eternal law. Because once you move in this manner, the world no longer asks if you are worthy. It moves to accommodate your clarity. But remember, this power only belongs to the man who has chosen with force, not with wish, not with performance, not with excitement, but with daily proof of belief. The man who speaks without acting weakens his own mind. But the man who repeats action without doubt builds empires. Say it again. I bend reality through rhythm. I do not wait for permission. I move as law. Now look at your life. Where is your rhythm? Where is your declaration? Where is your structure? If it does not exist, your power does not yet exist. And if you delay, you will become the servant of the man who did not. The world is not against you. It is waiting for you to choose yourself with such violent clarity that no one can deny it. You do not need agreement. You need alignment. You do not need inspiration. You need repetition. You do not need permission. You need decision backed by law. If you do not live this, you will forever be a man with potential. And potential is the prison of the man who never moved with power. But if you do live this, the world cannot help but move in your favor. Repeat with me now. I do not drift, I declare. My identity is law. The world reflects my inner rhythm. Do not hope that this truth sets you free. Move in it. Build with it. Declare it until the mirror reflects it, until your results obey it, until your destiny salutes it. You are no longer a man in waiting. You are a man in command. When a man finally chooses himself, fully, irrevocably, without apology, he becomes something few ever see, a force that no longer depends on the world for motion. He moves by inner law. He moves by structure, not sentiment. And once a man moves by law, he cannot be stopped. The average man still begs for energy. He needs motivation, praise, validation, reassurance. But the man who has chosen himself no longer feeds on emotion. He is powered by decision. He is fueled by purpose. And where most need a crowd to act, he acts alone and never pauses. This is the identity you must now wear. Not the one who waits for a good day, not the one who depends on others, but the man who is already decided, already declared, already in motion. You have written the law, now obey it. You have signed the oath, now live it. When I interviewed hundreds of the most powerful men of industry, Carnegie, Ford, Schwab, Edison, Rockefeller, I found this in everyone. They did not wait to be named great. They chose themselves and backed it with lifelong obedience to their vision. They became who they were because they crowned themselves. This, my friend, is not ego. It is law. It is the order of greatness. The world will not choose you first. It will ignore you, laugh at you, test you. But once you stop asking for recognition and start living as the man already crowned, the world must adapt. Say this aloud. I no longer ask. I declare. I am the chosen one because I chose. The man who built me was me. You no longer need applause. You no longer require support. You no longer look outward for confirmation. The man who moves by oath creates his own certainty, and the world respects the man who no longer needs it. You must now become your own fuel. If your aim was taken from you, would you rebuild it? If your audience walked away, would you continue? If no one believed in you, would you still wake up early, work in silence, and act with precision? If the answer is yes, then you are ready. Ready to take the next 90 days and become the man you once doubted. Ready to replace emotional highs with ritual. Ready to build without being seen. Ready to burn every excuse, every delay, every weakness that used to rule your life. Here is your command. Speak your definite chief aim aloud every morning and every night. Write your aim in a notebook 10 times per day. Build a ritual so disciplined it becomes a new identity. Track your results. Audit your habits. Speak the truth aloud. Kill the old self. Build the new one with repetition, silence, and law. Your belief does not rise by magic. It rises by evidence. And when your days are full of action, when your mornings are anchored in decision, when your weeks are measured by completion, not emotion, you will become the man you once only imagined. Say this aloud. I do not hope, I build. I am the one who writes the future. My results come from law, not luck. Burn this into your identity. No one is coming to choose you, because you were always meant to choose yourself. That is your divine responsibility. That is your entrance into dominion. That is the highest act of faith, to declare your value before the world confirms it. And from this day forward, there is no turning back. The throne is already yours. The only question now is whether your daily behavior proves it. Your vision is the blueprint. Your action is the hammer. And your belief is the fire that never dies. Do not just listen to these words. Live them. Let them become structure. Let them become speech. Let them become you. Because the man who chooses himself daily becomes unstoppable, not by emotion, but by law. You are the builder. You are the architect. You are the source. No more asking, no more waiting, no more hoping. Only law, only command, only you. Now go become the proof.